Airway emergencies.
Hey you!
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Who said that?
I'm your conscience. Don't be a bystander, help him.
But I don't know what to do.
Well, first you have to determine if he's mild choking or severe choking. Mild choking is when they're still able to cough, but when they're severe choking, they aren't able to cough because the airway is completely blocked.
He's mild choking.
Causes of choking is trying to swallow large pieces of food, eating while moving, and drinking too much alcohol. But the cause is not important right now. What is important is that you help him by encouraging him to keep coughing and stay close to them in case they need your help.
You've had too much Great Wall. You need to try to cough it out. Come on, son. Cough it out. Cough it out. I don't know if he's choking or if he's just playing around.
You will know when somebody is choking when they are not able to speak, cough, or breathe. There is a change in color of their face, and they have panic in their eyes, and they're clutching their throat and making high-pitched noises.
He's still choking. I don't know what to do.
First, you must check the scene to ensure it is safe. And if it is safe, you need to check the person's ABCs and shout for help.
Help! Help! Someone around to help me out. What do I do?
Since the victim is a child or an adult, you must stand behind him and wrap one arm across his chest. Bend him forward at the waist so he is parallel to the ground and hit him with the heel of your hand between his shoulder blades 5 times.
Choking. What do I do?
You must make a fist and place it just above his belly button. Now place your hand over the fist and pull sharply in and up. Do this 5 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Continue this cycle 5 times. Both the 5 back blows and the 5 abdominal thrusts. Then do a secondary survey.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Do this until he can breathe or becomes unconscious. If he becomes unconscious, support the person on the ground with their back by protecting their head. Then check for the person's ABCs. Call 911 and get an AED and continue the steps for an unconscious, choking adult or child.
Sir, are you okay? I'm just going to get you to sit down over here. Any signs or symptoms? Face is looking just a little bit pale. But it looks all right. Do you have any allergies? No. Do you take medicine? None. Any past medical history? No. What was your last meal that you ate?
I had some rice with chicken balls.
Some Great Wall?
Yes.
Can't trust that place. What were the events leading up to this? What happened?
I was walking while I was eating.
Why were you walking while you were eating? What ended up happening?
I choked. I would have done if I was alone.
Well, you would call 911 but leave the phone off the hook. Move to a place where you can get noticed by people, then try to dislodge the object by doing thrusts against a corner of a safe object.
Well, no.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, just out of curiosity, how would I help someone that's pregnant or very large, like Mr. D?
You would do the same, except you would place your hands in the middle of the chest instead of the stomach.
If they were in a wheelchair, also.
You would crouch behind the person, lock the wheels, and perform the same steps as you would do usually.
What if an infant was choking? What would I do?
You would sandwich the baby between your forearms, supporting the head, turn the baby face down, and give 5 back blows. If the object does not come out, you have to turn the body carefully over and give the chest compressions using 2 fingers.
The baby becomes unconscious totally.
You will perform baby CPR and continue the normal protocol.
You've learned a lot. Thank you.
Bone, muscle, and joint injuries.
Ooh.
Hey you!
Oh, God. Not you again.
Don't just stand there, help him. If you don't, his injury can worsen.
I don't even know what's wrong with him. He's just staring at me, grabbing his arm.
Well, when somebody falls or gets in a collision or gets a direct blow to their body, it can result in sprain, strain, dislocation, or fracture to their bone, muscles, and joints.
You can tell if he has any of these injuries. He's just sitting there.
You can look for things such as pain, deformity, swelling, bruising, limited use of movement, bones sticking out, snap or pop sounds, or if he's in shock.
Ow, why did you do that?
He's in pain. What do I do right there in his arm?
You can start by checking the scene to see if it is safe, and then check the person's ABCs. Great. If you notice any problems with his ABCs, or if his injury involves the head or spine, the injury makes walking difficult, you suspect there might be more than one injury, there are injuries to the thigh bone or pelvis, or the person has altered levels of consciousness, call EMS and get an AED.
I was a president. What do I do now?
Now you must treat the injury.
How am I supposed to do that?
Well, you can use the RICE method. RICE stands for rest, immobilize, hold, or elevate. First, have the person stop what he is doing. Now, immobilize the injured area in which it is found.
How could I immobilize it?
You can use soft splints, like folded blankets, rigid splints, like a tree branch, or anatomical splints, which is the use of another body part.
How am I supposed to get all these supplies that you're talking about? We're in the middle of nowhere.
Here, use this.
Looks like he hurt his forearm. What do I do with this splint?
First, help him up, carefully. Place the splint underneath his forearm. Make him hold something soft, like a piece of fabric. Now use the bandages to tie around his arm from the wrist and his upper arm to hold the splint together. Now you must apply ice to the injury to cool it, but make sure you put a piece of fabric between the ice and the bare skin so you don't freeze the skin. Apply ice for 20 minutes.
Okay, it's been 20 minutes. Now what do I do?
Great! The last thing you need to do is elevate the injury using a sling. If it was a collarbone injury, you would use a tube sling. This is where the forearm is put across the chest and you use a triangular bandage is put over the forearm, which is tucked under the elbow and over the shoulder and tied together. Then another bandage is tied across the body. But he has not hurt his collarbone, so he will be wearing a regular sling. Open the open triangular bandage underneath the injured arm against the body. The point of the triangular bandage should extend past the elbow. The opposite or bottom end should be straight up and down the body with the upper end over the shoulder. Tie the bandage at the back of the neck, making sure the knot does not create any discomfort. Now twist the extra fabric at the elbow and tuck it into the bandage.
How are muscle cramps treated?
Most of cramps are not an actual injury, but to stop the pain from happening, you should stretch and massage the muscle, try resting, and change the position of the area of the cramp.
That's interesting. But why does it seem like old people get hurt more often?
When most people become older, they develop osteoporosis, which is when the amount of calcium in their bones decrease, making the bones frail. You can prevent osteoporosis by building strong bones at an early age, getting enough calcium, and by exercising regularly.
You've been a great help. Thank you.
The makers of this movie would like to remind you that you can prevent airway, bone, muscle, and joint injuries simply by doing things such as chewing food properly, don't run and eat at the same time, wear proper protection, and by stretching. Stay safe.